What's up, guys? We got The Fosters, Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot. Okay, so, yeah. This episode, first off, I am doing the show because I kind of said I would do it in my Buffy review, but if anyone hasn't checked out my Buffy reviews, not linked in the description, but you should check them out. Well, anyway, this episode starts off in a prison, and we see our main character, and she's like, and one of the inmates is like, heard getting at say, huh? That's what we heard, and she's like, I lost my yard. You aren't talking now, but you were talking a long time. You were talking a lot, and I lost my yard because of you, and starts just wailing on her, beating this poor girl up. She's just a poor girl just not talking at all, and she gets beat up. So yeah. So then we see some guy at a competition, and we see a cop there, and then that cop gets a call from someone called Lena, and we meet Lena for the first time, and she is at the same place that, yeah. So then we meet this guy David, who's friends with some guy named Bill, and he's like, sorry, this guy, and he's like. I'm David, and his name is David, and he works, and Bill has got with something, so he's, like, the girl got in a fight with her foster father. She damaged his property, and Lena's like, I don't want any violent person in my house. She got her own kids to worry about. She got her own adopted kids to worry about. So yeah. But he's like, she's not dangerous. So yeah. So this girl who we learn is Callie comes out, and Callie like, where's Bill? Where's Jude? And she's like, why can't I talk to Jude? And yeah, and he's like, Lena, Callie. And she's like, this for a few weeks, right? Okay, I'll take her. And yeah, so then she doesn't think she'll take her, but she says okay. But next we transition to Callie at the Foster's house, and we meet Marion. He's his foster. He's just played by J.T. Austin. Callie played by Maya Mitchell. And Mariana played by Sierra Ramirez, and yeah, and they kind of make jokes about how they were in the foster system, and they were adopted, and how the foster system sucks, and yeah, and then Callie go to the bathroom, so yeah, so Lena's like, hey, what's up? I asked Bill for you guys, for you guys to be with to meet your birth mom, and Mariana's like, I'm not ready for this, and she's like, did he just talk you out of this? And he's like, don't look at me. She's like, she's just not ready for this. So, and Lena's like, what's up with that? You've been talking about this for the last 6 months. And she's like, I just don't think I'm ready for this. So, Callie's in the bathroom crying. And then she comes out when we meet Brandon Foster. Steph's son from her previous marriage. And yeah. So, and he's like, who's this? And he's like, Callie. This is Callie. She's gonna be staying with them for a little while. And he's like, nice to meet you. And yeah, so that's when the mom, aka Steph, comes, and she's like, no one told you their mom was a cop. And she's like, and she calls him, I think, Dykes, but and he's like, they would like to use from people, but yeah, they're gay. And he's like, he's the real son. And yeah, Gal with the mean streak. So yeah, and stuff is just like, who's this? And then after the title sequence, which intros next episode, so after the title sequence, we get to see Steph, and she's like, how could you not talk to me about this, bringing this young girl into our house? And she's like, I called you several times. Yeah, and she's like, well, I had your face, and she's like, she was in juvie, and she was like, in juvie, and she was like, Bill asked her to stay with her, David asked to stay with us, so yeah, so yeah, so yeah, and she's like, I know that you want to bring, I know that, like, you have this good heart for bringing people, but I don't want this to turn to Brady Bunch, because they're definitely not the Brady Bunch. So, yeah, so let me see, uh, so, so let me see, Steph, she goes up to Mariana, and he's in his room, and she's like, hey, they start talking in Spanish, and they're like, that's not true what Callie said, and they're like, you're more kids than Brandon is, and yeah, so then she goes to see Brandon, and she starts talking about him and his girlfriend using pills and condoms or whatever, never mind, and yeah, and he's like, I just gotta focus on this, so Callie goes to take his phone, and she calls him baby, which is kind of like, okay, is he her boyfriend or something? So yeah, so next day, Callie gets caught. Mariana takes pills, and she's like, this is just water. But when Callie looks, Mariana was taking her brother's pill for some weird reason. That's super sketchy. So yeah, so Callie, so Mariana, so yeah, so Callie's like, so Lena's like, hey, this is this is Timothy's room. You can take Brandon will be your guy, and she's like, you'll enjoy Timothy. He's very fun, and Callie's just amazed by this. She's like, wow, you go to school here, and yeah, and he's like, wait up. And she's like, wait up, and he brings her to the music room where he's like, this is a piece that we worked on for a contest, and he's like, I wrote it, and he's like, and he says, and he starts playing, and he's like, your song has no lyrics, and he's like, and I was like, Callie, songs don't need to be songs. They have no lyrics for them to be songs. Everyone knows this. But yeah, so that's when Brandon's girlfriend Talia comes in, and she's like, who's this? And he's like, this Callie, she's gonna thing with us for a little while. And she's like, yeah, welcome to Angel Beach. And he's like, oh yeah, Talia, she's in class with you. So she's like, Timothy says you should show her around, and she's like, yeah, let's get going. So yeah, so then Callie's just looking at this guy's like what is it called? Like, what was it called? Looking at his car keys, yeah. And then after class, he's like, Callie, what would happen if you were living in Mocha and you were living in Nanya? And before she can answer, the bell rings, so she has to go, and she's like, hey, dude. He's like, yeah, his name is Aiden, and he's like, hey, I want to go to San Cedros, and he's like, yeah, he's like, do you have to party? He's like, no, I just gotta meet someone there. He's like, okay, no thanks, but good luck with that, because he wanted to use her keys, but yeah, so Mario, so yeah, so, so, yeah, so he just shows up, and he's like, hey Mario, I need your money. He's like, no, he's like, where'd you get that money? And she's like, here's your money, and now leave me alone. So, yeah, so we see her texting Anna, her birth mom, which she told them she wasn't ready, but yeah. So yeah, so Brandon's just Brandon's hanging out with Talia when Callie's like, yeah, it's Callie, sorry, not Brandon. Callie's trying to figure her way out, and Mariana's like, hey, I'm not gonna knock on you or tell you that. I think it means not telling anyone about what you're doing or something I cannot understand. And she's like, if you want to leave, you have to go out that way. Lena's the back the back way. Lena's office patrols everything. So yeah, so Callie just pretends to look, and she leaves, and Brandon's with Talia, and then Brandon sees Callie, and just decides to say, "Hey Talia, I'll see you later," and goes to follow Callie. And Callie's like, "Where are you going?" And she's like, "None of your business." And he's like, "Mom, the cop," and she's like, "Just mind your business, your whole family." He's like, "My mom," and he's like, "Someone's been calling me this number all day," and she's like, "Hey Jude, it's her," but but then someone takes the phone, and she's like, takes the phone Jude's talking to and talking on, and she's like, "Hey, put Jude back on the phone," and he's like, "I gotta go," she's gotta go, and he's like, Who is that Callie? Well, he's got my number, and she's like, "Is it your boyfriend?" And she's like, "No, it's her brother, Jude," which kind of makes no sense why she was calling it baby. Yeah. So so she's like, if he's like, "My mom can help you," and she's like, "No cop, bro. If your mom finds out, she'll look into my record and find out all the stuff that her foster father made against her, and she'll get sent to Juvie, and Jude will be stuck in a house, so she has to go save Jude." And Brandon just goes with her, and she's like, "Bro, we see them on a bus," and she's like, "Bro, do you have like that concert thing?" And he's like, "There'll be others." And he's like, "What about that house?" And she was like, and she tells a story about how her foster father caught her brother wearing one of his ex-wife's dresses, starting beating the crap out of him. And Callie went to stop him. He kicked her in the stomach, and she wrecked his car. And then when the police came, he basically lied to the police, saying that was her fault. She went crazy, and he went to juvie because of it. And no one got to hear her story, which is super sad. So yeah, so then Mariana's saying, "Oh yeah, she's sick," and then at work, Steph is back, and then at work, Steph goes to work one day, and this guy named Vasquez is leaving their place where Vasquez is, and then Steph is like, "Oh," and they're like, and they start saying how Vasquez was a painter the Captain Robert's butt, and her name is Captain Robert, the captain's butt, and she's like, and he's like, "I'll be pairing you and Mike up," and he's like, "Who asked?" And he's like, and Mike's like, "I did." He's like, and she's like, "Do I have a time to think about this?" And the person's like, and the captain's like, "No, you don't." And then Steph says something to Mike, and then we cut to the scene where Mario's pretending to be sick, and he's just like, "I don't know what's wrong with her," and says something, but I'm not gonna say it. But anyway, and then Steph comes home, and she's like, "Mario's pretending to be sick," and he's just claims up, she won't tell her something, and then Steph is like, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and Steph's like, they partnered her up with Mike, and she's like, "Oh," and then Mike just shows up, revealing that he's Brandon and Steph's son. He's Mike and Steph's son. So, yeah, Steph and Mike used to be a thing. That's what they revealed in this episode. So they're like, "Hey, Brandon, you think great," but he's like, "He never came home with us," and he's like, "He was following her around," and he's like, "Who, Callie, her?" He's like, and Mike's like, "I don't know what you're doing," and carry on strays like a homeless shelter. And then they go, then they get then she calls Talia, and Talia's like, "Hey," and then like, "What are you doing in Cedar?" And they're like, "What?" And he's like, and then, yeah. So he just discovers some of his pills are missing because Mariana took them, or whatever she's doing with them. Sketchy Mariana. And he's like, they're missing. He's like, who, Callie and Brandon are missing. And she's like, She doesn't even, and he's like, some of my pills are missing. And she's like, just ask Brandon or Callie where AAHD pills are. And he's like, she's gotta go, and she's like, I know you didn't get that money from mom, so where are you getting it from? And she's like, she's talking, her birth mom, and she's like, she's back in town, so she gave her money. She's like, you're giving her money? And she's like, this person, not their mom. They abandoned them so she could go off somewhere and sleep with whoever she wanted. She abandoned them, she left them, and Mario's like, she came back. And he's like, I thought you were supposed to be the smart one. So yeah. So at the place, they're at Callie's old foster house, and Callie sees Jude, so Brandon's like, hey. Brandon starts distracting about Metro, and then he discovers Callie, and then he's like, and Callie starts apologizing, saying, I'm sorry about your Trans Am, and then he's like, I just want Jude, and then he starts touching her, and then he pulls out a gun on Brandon. He pulls out a gun, and then Stephanie will see this, and Steph's like, get on your hands now, get down on your knees now, and then Callie goes over to Jude. Steph sees this, and then Steph sees this, and yeah, Steph sees this, and they arrest the guy. Callie did see the Skippy picture on their bathroom wall, which she touched it, and I guess that reminded her of her brother because Jesus had a backpack just like that, Skippy, and Jude has a Skippy backpack, so I guess that reminded her of her brother in that scene. So anyway, I figured that out. So anyway, they're like, Callie's like, you're just gonna stare at Judy, find out Jude's somewhere safe, and she's like, and Steph's like, you're not disposable, Callie, you're not worthless, and yeah, so she's like, come on, you're coming home with us, and yeah, and Lena's like, who is that? And she's like, that's her brother Jude, that's Callie's brother Jude, and she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't go to scholarship, and she's like, oh, I don't care about scholarship, the guy had a gun, bruh, and yeah, so yeah, and Callie says she's sorry, and Brandon says, don't be, and yeah, and then Mariana goes meet Anna, and she's like, and she gives her the money, she's like, here, and she's like, she's just trying to get back on her feet, and she's like, here, and she's like, your folks probably wondering where you are, and she's like, no, her moms are probably wondering, she's like, what, she's probably like, her moms are wondering where she are, and Anna just leaves, like, doesn't say bye, she doesn't say, hey, let me sit with you, she just leaves, like, she just leaves, and then the episode ends with Callie, Mariana, Callie, Judy moving in with the Fosters, and yeah. So, premiere-wise, this episode was a really good premiere. It's a really good premise. It's a really good story. I didn't mean to make it 18 minutes long, but it was a very good premiere. I just had to compact everything in this episode into one video. I'll be continuing with this show. So, yeah. So, like, comment, subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next. The Fosters.